Reavo, welcome back to Toronto, man. How's it feel?
Good to be back. Always good to be back. How you guys doing?
Good, good. What's going through your mind? Obviously, you've had a couple games on your belt here in San Jose, but what's going through your mind as you get off the plane here into Toronto, getting set for this game?
Not much really. It's just another game. I've done this. This is my sixth or seventh time in my career doing this. You never want to lose to the team that just got rid of you for sure. So, we'll be working tomorrow, but just another game.
We always laugh and try to figure out who's getting a video tribute and when guys return. We can't figure it out. You think you'll get recognized, or do you even care?
I doubt it. No, I don't care either way. It's fine. But yeah, I doubt it. It was only 2 years.
Yeah, that's fair. We did love you here. Just have you been able to talk to the guys throughout the season? Like, I'm sure. I mean, whether you admit it or not, it's a game that you looked at and said, you know what, I want to have a good showing back in Toronto here. I know it was a couple years, but you meant a lot to these guys, right?
Yeah, like I said, you don't ever want to have a bad showing against the old team that got rid of you, and you never want to lose to your boys. You always want to put that in their face. But um, yeah, I keep in touch with a bunch of them. I know, unfortunately, I couldn't meet up with them today. They got a hospital visits, but um, yeah, we're gonna be trying to put our best foot forward. I know I will tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, obviously you're focused on what's going on in San Jose, no question. But when you look back at your time in Toronto, if you get the time to do so, what stands out as your time being a Maple Leaf?
My time being in Maple Leaf, I had a good time. It was cool to put on this jersey. There's a lot of history on this team. I met some really really good guys in this organization, guys that I plan on talking to for the rest of my life. Um, Hockey wise, obviously a little more frustrating than I would have liked. Um, but again, I said it today after practice. Hockey is a business, and it's not always going to go the way you want. It's there's going to be ups and downs in your career, and unfortunately the last 2 years, especially last year, was a little bit of a down year for me here, and it just didn't work out. So I don't hold any grudges. Business is business, and it is what it is.
Do you have a favorite memory? Like I always recall, I think it was your first home game. You like flexed to the crowd, man. That set the tone for me. Like this guy means business. I loved it.
Yeah, my first two games were fun. I think I got two fights in 2 games there, and a lot of energy. But um, yeah, I would say those first 2 games were a lot of fun. Just putting on that jersey for the first time.
What stands out to you? You've been a few different places, but the difference between Toronto and San Jose, what are some of those things?
Oh man, Toronto just seems like more of a production, more of there's just a lot more going on. In Toronto you have 30 skills coaches, and you got 10 nutritionists, and then you got a girl stretching, for stretching, and a guy for, movement. It's just there's a lot of moving parts in Toronto. It's a big production here. Just a little bit less in San Jose, but San Jose, they still have everything you need to get, to be a professional and be a good player. It's just a little bit more here.
How much do you miss the media in Toronto? I know it's a bit different there in San Jose, right?
A bit different. The most questions I've been getting is about my fantasy football squad this year. It's been kind of nice. So, um, look, I don't miss any of the negativity.
What are you talking about?
I
I
believe it.
was
I believe it.
No, no, no. The media was always good to me. Like they were
yeah.
never bad to me. It's just much different here. Here you got 30 guys coming into the locker room, and they're dissecting everything that happened. I know when I got into that suspension, everybody comes up, it's like, what'd you see on that play? It's like, well, I tried to hit a guy. I missed. And I go to the locker room in San Jose. It's like, how's the fantasy squad doing? You guys win this week, so it's a little different.
And I always find it interesting to talk to guys that have been in that market and elsewhere. Like they haven't won since 1967. Do you think that what you just described, like the theatrics around it, the craziness, the media, the just everything that comes along with that market, do you think that makes it more difficult to win in that city?
I don't know if it makes it more difficult. I think it just makes it a different experience. I think, you have to be a certain person to be able to deal with that, to be able to see your name on TV every day, whether you're playing good or, especially if you're not playing well, they're gonna pick you apart and they're gonna talk about it over and over. And, that's just what happens when you're in a big hockey market, right? It's just no escaping it.
Pretty polarizing offseason. I know you're busy with life out in San Jose. You guys are off to a good start, young team. We'll get to that. But how stunned, I'm sure you've looked around the league a couple times. How stunned were you at Toronto's start? I know they've leveled off a bit lately, 5-1-1 in their last 7, but how shocked were you to see that type of start for them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of turnaround on the team. Losing Mitchie, I think, probably hurt a little bit more. But a lot of new faces, and I think when you have a lot of new faces on a team, it's going to take time to build chemistry and get that game to really you want it to be. Obviously, like you said, the last couple games they've been playing much better. But yeah, like a lot of teams when there's a lot of turnaround, it's going to take time to kind of build that game.
Your division's pretty tough or tight too. Is it different playing in that Pacific Division, or is it whatever? You've been around the block. Do you notice differences? Is it weird being over in that part of the world, or is it just hockey's hockey?
You know what? It's funny. I've said it a couple times now. I think I belong in the West. I don't know if I think all my best years have been in the West, and my worst years have been in the East. I don't know what it is. If it's the air out there, or maybe it's I stay up late to watch football in the East, and in the West it's done at 10 o'clock, so I can get some sleep. I don't know what it is, but I just like the West better.
Max Celebrini, obviously a stud on your team. You've had pretty good handful of games to watch him. What can you tell us about him? And is he ready to play on Team Canada? Would you be an advocate of him making that team for the Olympics?
I mean, I would be shocked if he wasn't on Team Canada. He is, to me, young players coming in, yeah, they have that high skill, but the other parts of their games, haven't really developed. The being a full 3 zone, 200-foot player, not cheating for pucks, not cheating for points, that kind of stuff. I feel it sometimes takes a couple years for these young guys, but Mac already has all of that. He's not a guy who, he turns over the puck and he's not going to swing all the way to the other zone hoping for a breakaway. He gets in the corners, he plays physical, he stops on pucks, he back checks hard. He plays in all 3 zones. He's kind of that complete package at a young age. And so, I mean, I think it would be a snub if he didn't make Team Canada, to be honest.
Oh, he's electric. I watch a lot of your games, and you look very rejuvenated, refreshed. I don't know what the word is, but like, how much does it help when you have all that youthful enthusiasm around you in San Jose? Like, you guys are going to be a good team for many years to come here.
Yeah, I mean, this team is going to be very good. Him, Will Smith, those guys are electric together, and they've been playing very well together. Not only last year but this year, and their game is just building, and they're getting better every day. And they're going to take this organizations to very good places. And I'm hoping I'm around for it for the next couple years, but. Yeah, it's exciting times in San Jose for sure with those guys.
Mhm. And you started your career like 07, 08. Like it's getting to be a while ago, obviously. What are some of the differences that, these young players come in? Like, how do they handle themselves differently? And what goes into being a team now that might have changed over the course of your career?
Oh man, we used to go out and drink a lot more back in the day, that's for sure. There was a lot more club nights back in the day. But um, I feel like the young guys now, they take care of their bodies so much more than, young guys back in the day. I think they like to get their sleep, they like to get their green juices in. They like to be home, they
So
like to be
lame,
home at
man.
curfew, which yeah, yeah. Hey, the league has drastically changed from off ice to on ice. It's all different since I came in the league. For better, for worse, it is what it is. That's just how the league is.
We talk about that a lot. It's funny because the Leafs as mentioned, had a really shit start to this season, and we had like veteran after veteran, like Thomas Caberlet. I remember all these guys lined up, came on our show, and we're like, "How do they get out of this?" And like, they need to get drunk on the road, and like, we laughed about it because that's probably not what was happening. But I wanted to ask you about the road. Like, the Leafs played a lot of their games on home ice to start the season, and just want to ask you how big it is to get on the road with the boys for an extended period of time and just chill out and and hang out a bit.
I think it is. I think it is one of the most important things for a team. I think when you look at a schedule, you want a nice long road trip to start the year. You want to build that chemistry. You want to get to know guys off the ice, and it's hard when you, especially with guys who have families, when you're at home for the first month, and
Yeah.
you're going to the practice rink, and then you're going home to see your family because a road trip's coming up, so you don't want to be away from them when you're at home. So it's tough, but I think it's really important. We had a early road trip. We all went to Book of Mormon, had a good time there. We've had a couple dinners now. We had a little night out a couple nights ago. I think it's, like I said, one of the most important things for a team to be able to go and have fun on the road.
Now I creep your DB here, and like you are creeping towards 1,000 games played. Is that on your radar? And assuming you stay healthy and play every game, do you know what date that could be that you could hit 1,000?
That date will be next year. It'll be,
Yeah,
I need one more
barely.
contract. Yeah. And I think I'm going to need, I want to say it's in the low teens next year, something around that. Like not very many. So no,
Shit.
it's definitely on my radar. I've told the story before, but when I first came in the league, I I was creeping on 100 games. I remember I looked at my wife. I was like, could you imagine if I hit 100 NHL games? How cool that would be. And then all of a sudden I was at 200, and then I was creeping on 5. And then, I got up to 8, and I was like, man, imagine if I hit 1,000 games. And now it's like, it's there. And I guess I could have hit it this year if things didn't go the way it did last year. This would have been the year to hit it, but unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way. So I'm hoping I can earn one more contract and stick around for another year or two. And then not just that. I think the excitement around San Jose and this team. I want to be part of that, and I want to help. You know, continue to lead these young guys into what they're trying to build. So. Yeah, I got a lot on my radar. Got 100 fights coming up too.
Oh,
Trying to
wow.
get to that.
I,
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
get into that in a second, but do you think they should give you silver gloves? I think it's a silver stick for 1,000 games. Like, I think we should change it for
Yeah.
you.
I mean, that would be cool. I would love a pair of silver gloves for 100 fights. That'd be unreal. I thought
That'd
maybe
be
a
unreal.
thousand pims you might get something, but no, nothing for that either.
Nothing. Did want to get to that. I
Nothing.
think I was looking earlier today, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's 3 tilts to your name this year, but you're really going early on in the year. Like, what have you made of sort of how different fighting is from like when you started to now? But like every now and again, I'll watch, and you got the Rempy tilt. I think you went Olivier this year. It's always refreshing for a dinosaur like me when I see that still in this game.
Yeah, it's different from back in the day. Well, when I came in the league, every team had somebody, and every game you were looking at the sheet is like, all right, who's going to want it tonight, and how many times is he going to want it? It's just much different. Now it's especially last year. There was I only had one fight, and if you look at the games we played, we played against Jersey. McDermott was scratched one of the games, and I got scratched against Jersey. Olivia had a broken hand one game. Delorier didn't play a few of the games. I didn't play one of the games against Philly. And so, those are kind of the guys that are willing to fight me. And when you don't have those guys in the lineup, you know, there's not a lot there's not a lot I can do because there's just not a lot of guys that are willing to drop the gloves. Last night, unfortunately, Delorier wasn't in. Was hoping another go with him because I like fighting him. Him and Olivier, I really like fighting. They're a lot like me, very technical, and it's fun kind of trying to dissect those fights with those guys.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that you're creeping up on 1,000 games is a testament to how you've been able to adapt your game. And back in the day, like you say, there's 3 guys on every team who you could potentially get in one, and now is there even 10 guys in the league that would go you? I don't know if that's even the case. How have you developed your mentality going into a game? Like you said, oftentimes you're not getting in a scrap, and what has been what has been the main thing that you have focused on and adapted to that has kept you in the league as long as you've been?
Honestly, just being high energy on the bench, on the ice, and playing physical. I think my game has changed where back in the day, yeah, I got to play physical and get in guys' face and everything, but I'm fighting, as much as I can basically now because there's not those fights out there. how can I have an impact on the game? I'm not pretending like I'm going to go out and score 50 or anything like that, but to be able to bring energy and get in guys' faces and make defensemen look over their shoulder once in a while, thinking that I might be coming, and that opens up room for other guys when they're on the ice. So I think that's just kind of been the biggest adaptation is and I've, believe it or not, got faster over the days, because I used to just go to the gym and throw around 300-pound weights and try and get jacked just because I knew I was going to be fighting all year. And I don't do that anymore. It's a lot more, a lot more sprint stuff, a lot more explosive stuff. So, games change and I got to change.
I like that. And Reeve, I'm a big wrestling guy. You can't see me. John Cena's final match coming up this week. And yeah, I know you're dialed in on this. I got to ask you, like, plenty of games still left in your career, but do you have a dream last opponent to go in the NHL? Like, if you had to pick one guy right now, this is my last go of things, do you know who it would be or who you want it to be?
Oh, maybe Poppy. I think that would be a good cherry on the cake.
You think he's taking that?
No, we were just joking about it today. We were saying center ice tomorrow, so no. I honestly, I think probably Delorier. He was my 1000th PIM I got on a fight with him. Our fights have always been very even, and I respect his game a lot. He plays tough and he plays very honest. He's not dirty, and the way he scraps, I love his game. And him or Olivier, to be honest, those two guys I think would be the ones I'd want to go.
I love the respect. Rosie, do you remember your last fight in the NHL?
I don't. I remember I was Dennis Bonvie's last fight, though, and we had this go, and afterwards he said, "You're my last one, kid. You're my last one." And I don't know what his PIM fight total is, but he played in the heyday, and I was like, holy fuck, that's a lot of guys to be the last one. But it's funny how you start thinking about that stuff when you get near in the end.
Yeah. It's very sick. You got plenty left in the tank, man. Just money on the board, I'm guessing, tomorrow for this game against the Leafs, or what?
You know what? I've been on so many teams. I feel like I'm putting on every game, and it's breaking my bank. It's getting ridiculous. I got to stop getting dealt.
Welcome back. We look forward to seeing you, and something tells me you're going to be moving and grooving on that ice. I can't wait. I'll be there, bud.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.